suggested from itschromeos from .com, and I'm about to give a very biased opinion on a subject that I feel like warrants a discussion. So allow me. So this particular discussion, revolves around the headphone jack, right, and its constant association with mid-range devices, right? So there's a collective. Basically, the argument is that there's a collective conscious in the tech industry, right, to phase the headphone jack out, right, into oblivion. Right, okay, obviously we know that's a natural progression of things. Like eventually, it's gonna be replaced by wireless, right, technology, right, Bluetooth and the likes, right. But the fact that it's been we've been forced to um, associate mediocrity, right, with the headphone jack, right, and of course that affects our perception of the headphone jack because it's constantly been associated with something of a lesser value, with mid-range and low-end devices, right? So when they constantly do that, eventually you slowly embrace that perception. You're like, okay, who uses headphone jacks anymore? Nobody uses headphone jacks. The world has gone wireless, so you start to associate the headphone jack to sort of to those middle and low end devices, which is unfortunate, I would say, because the thing is that it's such a useful and ubiquitous feature to have on literally any electronic device that transmits some sort of media, right? It's just impossible to ignore it. But the fact that it's been phased out this way is a little bit uh, what's the word? It's just quite infuriating to say the least, right? And the diehards are pretty much millennials and you know not so much of the Gen Z because they're sort of like the new kid, the new generation, whatever, and they're gonna be like yeah, they're gonna be like they're gonna be more open to alternatives to the headphone jack, right? So they can easily transition to Bluetooth headphones and stuff like that without feeling too much of a difference. So the same thing would be for the generation before the millennials. I don't know. I don't really bother to. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. They had an obsession with CDs as well. Like CDs that produce the highest quality, and it took them a while to adapt to newer mediums like streaming and stuff like that. So the same thing is gonna be for millennials. It's gonna take them a while to adapt to wireless headphones, right? Although this is not a majority of millennials, I would say most of the diehards, headphone jack diehards, there's quite a majority of them that are millennials. It's just not unfortunate in any way. Just pointing out that that's a fact. And yeah, so Gen Z will be able to transition to that wireless technology a lot easier than millennials. But whatever the case, the whole point of this discussion in the first place was just to state the fact that yeah, this is a reality. This is a thing that is happening, right? So when you see a mid-range device like the Pixel 3A and 3A XL come with headphone jack, right? And the higher hand Pixel 3 doesn't. It's sort of like, hey, this is a much more premium device, right? I should expect it to have everything, right? I shouldn't expect that it's gonna be omitting some certain functionalities. But then you see that the more premium a device, the less port it has. That has become the norm, right? The high end it is, the more it incorporates latest technologies that don't necessarily have a wide presence in the consumer market yet. That's why when you have the latest MacBook or when I have my Pixel book, right? you gotta you gotta grab some dongles along with you, you know, just in case you need to use some older technology or whatever, right? So it's just been a it's just but I think in a way with the way they're pushing for this idea of a wholesome a wholesome and unified system is kind of aggressive, right? So I get the push for USB-C. So there's the constant push for USB-C adaptation, and that is why conglomerates like Google and Apple continually implement the technology in their devices. So the Pixelbook charges get a USB-C port, and you can also like use it for expansion, and whatnot, and also connect to external displays and whatnot. So it's a multi-purpose for that sorry technology that is latest standard, right? So it makes sense that they are pushing for it, but it's quite aggressive, especially for early adopters that want to like try the new things first. But obviously, at the end of the day, you know what you're getting into, right? This is a new technology, and there's not going to be a lot of accessories available to it or and whatnot. But then again, you're like, okay, I gotta get this anyway because I like it. I want to get the latest stuff. I want to own the latest stuff. It's just a thing that most nerds can relate to. Yeah, and you're constantly asking and searching for what is the latest and the greatest, but that comes at a price. No accessories, nothing that you can use. There's not as much um, third party accessories that you can use with them. But obviously, there's the proliferation of the USB C is going at an um, extremely fast pace. I would say I don't know if that was grammatically correct, but essentially, um, yeah, it's an unavoidable future. I just wish they were less aggressive about it, and and not like stuff like shove it down your throat kind of stuff. Like as you might imagine, the Pixel Slate, which is essentially Google's latest device in the line of ChromeOS devices, right, doesn't feature a headphone jack. I don't know, it was kind of surprising to me when they made the announcement and it had no headphone jack. Because guess what? The Pixel Book has a headphone jack, right? So I think the Pixel Slate is the next direction in in Google's quest to conquer um, the tablet ecosystem. All right. However, they still feel like they need to keep up with what the competition is doing. If I remember correctly, if I remember correctly, right, the latest iPad doesn't feature a headphone jack, right? So obviously, like Google is obviously in the same in that direction as well, right? So like we can expect that from now henceforth, that Pixel line of devices, or might be just the Pixel Slate line of sub line of devices, will not feature will never feature a headphone jack again. So it might affect the entire Pixel ecosystem, or it might just affect just the phones and tablet exclusively, because the Pixel book is still regarded as it's a business machine essentially. So them omitting something like the headphone jack, I don't think it's gonna be a wise move. Yeah, I don't know. Especially they're trying to get people to transition to Bluetooth technology, and necessarily USB-C explicitly for headphone. No, sorry, for audio transmission, because you obviously need your port for peripherals. Essentially, especially if you just have two of them, right? So if you're charging your device in one, you need the other to be free, right? And you can't sort of like force people to transition to USB-C for music on their smartphones. It's not just really practical, right? Especially when you consider the fact that people need to charge their devices sometimes. But then you could argue for the fact that wireless charging technology is becoming a much bigger thing, which is quite frankly the future, right? So where you can charge your phone wirelessly from a point, you know, without even having to stand up, right? And there've been early showcases of this technology. I don't know about it in details because it's been a while when I watched it last, and well, yeah, you could literally be sitting in your chair and charge your phone wirelessly. Yeah, so if that's the future, it makes sense, but it's sort of like they're pushing it at us way too early, right? Because this technology is not ready yet. The current wireless technology available, I think the max you can charge wirelessly is 10 watts before the phone and the device start eating up, and becomes a risk for the user where it might explode or whatever, right? I don't know. I don't really know so much about that, so I'm not going to talk about it extensively. So I would say for sure, however, that yeah, that is for sure the future, but the way there is been forced down our throat, it's not the best, because it's so hard to adopt. Because if you're to transition, sorry, because if you're omitting the headphone jack, with the silly excuse that it's taking up space because the device is not slimmer. It's just because surveys I've shown time and again that people prefer um, bigger batteries if it means a thicker phone, right? So they do not have an explanation for that. But I understand the fact that they have to sort of like push the boundaries, right? And the industry has to be competitive. Otherwise, we don't get these greatest and the latest devices that we do now, that we enjoy now. We don't get a device as slim as this. Look at that ridiculous, look at that. I don't know what it is exactly. Probably 9 point something. I don't remember exactly. But it's that slim, Yeah, and that's really impressive. Yeah, whenever you sit outside, people are like, "What device are you using?" Like, it's a Pixel book. It's always a Pixel book. It's a Chromebook made by Google. Like, okay, that's cool. And like, yeah, thank you. What does it do? I'm like, it has Android apps. You can run Android apps. And if you already have an Android smartphone, like you can literally just get used to the same apps that you have in your Android smartphone. It's just gonna be home in your laptop, so it's not gonna be too difficult. In fact, it'll be a lot easier because you're a millennial or you're Gen Z or whatever, so it shouldn't be hard for you to transition to this. You know, um, yeah, but Google has a well-rounded plan on how they're gonna like take over the industry. Um, I I reckon, right, because right now they're dominating the educational market, and it's a natural progression kind of thing. The next generation are sort of like getting into the idea of computing and spending more time saving their stuff online. And yeah, Google is quite ahead. It's ahead of the competition at this point, I would say, in a very specific regard. Where sort of like we transition to living a life that is mostly online with a ton of Google services, right? To complement that ecosystem of web of um, services and repositories and whatnot that exist on the web. As you can see with Stadia, right? It's an initiative that has been in existence for a while. However, it's not one that is it's not one that had as much muscle power as mothership Google behind it. Yeah, there are a ton of data centers around the world. They've been able to make very low latency or absolute zero latency. This one really exact words, so don't take that, don't take that. But if promise that it'll be as fast as responsive as as you snap your fingers. What I had expected in the announcement was a live demo. Considering track record when they debut a new device. In the introduction. You know, at the event in October, you go without the event and you see that they will showcase the device on stage and what's all about, what it's all about, what new features, what's new software features and whatnot. So like get the crowd excited. It's a natural thing to do. I feel like, and yeah, Google missed the opportunity to do that for the Google Stadia, because it would have been nice if they should up a demo on stage, while in the Stadia Connect event, and it was a little disappointing that they didn't do that. However, I would say for sure that Stadia is the future. It gives us a better glimpse to the future of of Chrome OS, and migration to the cloud. So I felt like this is a massive conspiracy theory. I'm just this is my thought, right? I feel like but the purpose that Android and Linux serve in Chrome OS essentially are to help you transition to a computing that'll be that to computing to a life of computing that'll be exclusively on the cloud. Like that, I said it. I said it. And Chrome OS is the right is the step is the right step in that direction, right? Helping people transition to to a cloud first computing where your entire life lives on the cloud. Other applications that you use, and all that it can be accessible via the cloud. Kind of like Stadia is a glimpse into that future. It's sort of like an inevitable future. Um, yeah, and Android and Linux are there to help people transition because to that future of the cloud. And yes, it's an exciting prospect, like the future of the cloud and how that can affect our lives and how that can affect the next generation. It's a really it's almost unnerving, where it's sort of like it happened so quickly. They innovated so quickly. They did a lot so quickly, and Google had the foresight, of seeing where Chrome OS would be um, in a decade from when the operating system launched. With Google would see how 48 and Samsung Sector 5 devices. Yeah, it was a pretty impressive feat. Um, but that's it for today. To stay, to stay. We're blaming the heart. Your day, your name. I will blame in the heart.